Today I want to talk about kale. It's not my favorite green, but you know, I have the osteoporosis, so I was researching foods to eat and kale came up because I'm going to read off my iPad here. Why kale benefits your bones. It has high calcium. 1 cup of cooked kale provides roughly 150 to 180 milligrams of calcium. And this is good if you're limiting dairy or if you just want to add more foods with calcium that aren't dairy. Vitamin K. Kale is rich in vitamin K, a critical nutrient that helps direct calcium into your bones and keeps them structurally sound. And they don't have oxalates. Unlike spinach, which has calcium that your body struggles to absorb due to natural oxalates, kale's calcium is very easy for your body to process. So I'll probably be eating more kale, maybe one of these gigantic bags a month. I don't know. I've had this a couple weeks and I've got more than a third left. I've eaten several meals from it, and I'm going to show you some of the meals, how I've prepared it. And I had to look all this up because I've eaten kale before, but I never committed to, a gigantic bag like this. And on the nutrition facts here on the back, it does say that it has 15% or 220 milligrams of your daily calcium needs, 8% of iron, 6% of potassium, 25% of vitamin A, 90% of vitamin C, so that's good, and 280% vitamin K. And this is all in a 2.5 cup serving size. And really, this stuff cooks down, as you'll see in some of these dishes that I made. It just, once it's exposed to heat, I guess, it just shrivels up and shrinks, which, it's really hard to eat raw. I read that you can massage it and, it helps, you put some oil on the kale leaves and massage it to make it more tender. I didn't do that. I didn't fix any recipes with just raw kale. I figured I will just cook it. That way I know it will be more tender for sure. I was just being lazy. So here are some recipes that I used, and let me know if you're gonna try any of these. I'm going to make a dish using my kale that I bought today at Walmart. It's chopped, so I've just opened the bag and took out quite a bit, but it didn't make a dent. This is what I've washed. It's probably a couple cups. I'm going to put the kale on this towel to dry it a little. And I have a pan heating up here on the stove. Add olive oil. And I diced up 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to turn that heat down. It doesn't need to be on the highest heat setting. I also have the air fryer going, so that's what that noise is. So I'm going to go ahead and put the kale in the pan. And this is going to cook down to nothing. See how it's shrinking up? heat down really low. And I'm going to put this lid on here. The kale has been cooking for about, I'd say 3 minutes, and I'd say it is done. I tasted it, and it's wilted and not that real tough, fibrous texture anymore. So I've turned the heat off, and I'm just going to put the lid back on and kind of take it mostly off the heat. So, this is a very easy, simple way to use kale, and it took probably 5 minutes with the chopping and everything. Tonight I'm having the kale with garlic and some cottage cheese and some of my air-fried potatoes. I'm going to use some more of my kale that I bought in that gigantic bag, and I'm just going to show you a real quick and easy thing I'm doing with it. I made some soup. And I've turned the heat off because it's done. I just put in a can of tomatoes with celery, onion, and I don't know, maybe just celery and onion, and a bag of frozen soup mix vegetables. And I'm just gonna, I cooked it for probably 40 minutes. I mean, everything was, you know, not really cooking. Just gonna dump that in there, and this will wilt and get tender. I'm just going to put the lid back on, and maybe in about 20 minutes I'll be ready to eat, and it'll be ready. I'm going to put the lid back on. There we go. So that's how I used another bunch of my kale. Here's my bowl of soup with the kale, and it was delicious. Today I put some oil in a skillet and cooked the kale just 3 or 4 minutes, and then I cracked an egg. I made a hole in the middle and fried an egg, and I like it over hard, so I cracked the yolk and put some cheese on top. And I'm just going to put this lid on it to let the cheese melt, and then I'll show it to you. Here it is with the cheese melted, and I'm just going to take a quick bite. Make sure it's edible. Not bad. So that's just another option for using kale. I'm going to make some kale chips, and I'm going to use my air fryer because it's hot here and I don't want to turn on the oven. So I'm going to just spray with my jar of oil, spray some oil in the bottom of the air fryer. Then I'm going to put in, I'm just going to use up what I have here in the bowl, and I'm going to spray it. And I'm going to put it on 400. I'm not going to preheat this because I didn't think of it. So I'll put it on. Let's try, I don't know, 7 minutes, and then we'll come back and check and see how it's going. And I wanted to show you, it's just been going for a couple minutes, but look how much smaller it is. It's getting darker, which is good. And I'm going to continue the air frying. That was just a couple minutes worth. So I wanted to show you, I took the kale out after about 5 minutes, and it is done. Look how much it shriveled up. It was a bowl full, basically, and now it's just a bottom full. But it's really good. I added a little salt, and these are kale chips, and they're very good. This is my favorite way of fixing it so far. And I was concerned, how am I going to use all this up? Because I still have about 1/3 of a bag. But if I did this much and then this much in 2 different servings for kale chips, that would take care of it. And it would probably reduce down to, you know, just a little bit. Maybe a bowl full. I don't think it would even be a bowl full. Kale really shrinks up when you cook it. So what do you think? Will you make any of these kale dishes, or do you eat kale already, and how do you fix it? Because I'm open to new ideas. I really liked the kale chips. They were nice and crunchy, and I love, you know, popcorn and potato chips and tortilla chips. So, you know, I could make some kale chips more often, and they're much healthier. So let me know in the comments if any of these appeal to you, if you've ever tried kale, if you've never tried it. I'd eaten it a little bit before, but, you know, after seeing how healthy it is for my bones, it's like, why not? You know, take some responsibility, do the right thing. So I'll probably be eating it more often. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.